So welcome everyone to week 5. I want you to give yourself a nice big pat on the old back. You are past the halfway point. Congratulate yourself and really celebrate all the hard work that you've put in up to this point. You should be feeling stronger by now and a sense of strength building in your body, and also a better sense of the movements and how the body moves and how to execute these movements through the exercises. We're going to be adding a new prop this week, an elastic TheraBand. Don't worry if you don't have one for today. You don't need to have it. But what you can do is order one online if you can't find one in your area. If you need help finding it, just send me an email and I'll help point you in the right direction. So I'm really excited to keep going, keep building your strength and keep getting this body going and keeping your momentum moving forward. We're ready to get started with our week 5 video and just have a great time and enjoy. So we're ready to get started with our week 5 strength and conditioning video. You're going to grab your elastic, and if you don't have an elastic today, you can use a belt or just a long piece of material just to mimic the elastic to get started today. You're going to bring it into both hands, just at your front of your thighs. You have a nice soft grip here, nothing too clenchy, just nice and easy. You want it to be a nice gentle elasticity, not something so hard that you have to pull. It should be a nice, easy, soft resistance. So if your band feels really taut, you may need to find one that's slightly less elastic. So from here, we're going to bring the hands up and overhead. So we're inhaling to come up, exhaling down, inhaling up, and exhaling down. So starting with nice small motions, as I bring my arms up, I'm also imagining them widening out to the sides. I want to feel as though my arm bones are being held nicely into my socket so I'm not overextending here. If you have the flexibility without feeling vulnerable with the shoulder, you can go a little bit higher, even till the elastic goes right overhead or slightly behind. If you have a vulnerable shoulder injury and you are unable to go overhead, that's fine. You can just stick with arms out in front and down. So easy motion out wherever is working for your shoulder range of motion. I'm going to pick that back up and keep going. So for another 8, as my arms are going overhead, I'm envisioning that my rib cage is staying stacked right over my pelvis, so I'm not flaring my ribs forward to bring my arm bones back in the socket. No tension, no stress. This is an easy warm-up just to get those joints moving. Here we go for another 3. Inhale down, 2, and last 1. We're going to widen our stance slightly, grabbing hold of that elastic and bringing it gently up and overhead. Imagine you're between 2 panes of glass, one out front and one behind. There's a big ball to the side of you. You're going to round over the ball and exhale back to center. You can slightly bend the knees and back to center. So here's where we're starting to connect with the core muscle system. As we envision ourselves traveling between the 2 panes of glass in front and behind of us, we want to feel as though we're drawing our leg bones up into the sockets and through into the lumbar low back spine. And we don't want to collapse down. We want to think about being tall, rounding up and over. Let's go through another 5. Inhale through center. Exhale side 4. Inhale here. I've got a soft pushing out on that elastic. Nothing too drastic. If you need to lighten it, that's fine. Last 2. And last 1. Bringing the elastic down out in front of you. We're going to hinge at our hips, so warming up our hinge, sticking the butt basically back out behind you. Hips and knees are bending here, keeping a connection from the pubic bone to the sternum. So just getting a nice easy bending motion going here, finding that nice hinge where there's no low back curving. It's literally a hip motion and a nice easy knee motion. We're going to add the elastic into this motion. So grabbing hold, bringing it behind you. From here, get a nice relaxed shoulders, broad through the front, and you're going to extend the arms wide. If you feel like it was a lot of work to do that, lessen your resistance and then extend nice and wide. Feet are going to go a little bit wider here, and we're going to at first just find that hinge and up, keeping the arms wide. Easy motions here just to get the body fluid, get the circulation going, get the breath going. And once you've got the hang of that, as you go into the bend, we'll add a small little twist. So we're going to twist right arm to left knee and back, left arm to right knee and back. You can keep that at the thigh level if reaching to the knee is too much for you. Ideally, we're reaching towards the knee if it's comfortable, the inside of that knee. We're moving through another 8. Arms are staying relatively straight if possible, and that allows us to do more of the twisting through our rib cage versus just moving the arm. So we're twisting through the ribs to bring the arms over, sticking the hips out back behind us. Last 4. And up, last 3, and up, coming up fully in between, 2, nice and tall, and 1. We're going to bring that elastic down and behind the body here with a nice soft grip. I'll turn to the side, and again, we're thinking about the stacking of the spine all the way through to the crown of the head, feeling lifted through these deep abdominal muscles right through to the spine here. Hands are going to go behind the back, grabbing that elastic gently. And from here, just thinking of broadening through the front of the shoulders and softly lifting the elastic up away from the body. From here, we're going to softly press out and relax. So it's an easy press out and relax. This isn't a big motion here. I'm not pushing hard. I'm just gently engaging through the back body. We're going to do another 3 here. Thinking about mostly getting tall and feeling the connection of the ribs and the pelvis together versus worrying too much about a big motion back behind you. From here, keeping the arms back, we're going to go into a small hinge. So arms stay in this position, and again, we're just practicing our hinge forward, keeping the hands high this time. So finding the hinge, we're warming up the backs of the arms, warming up that hinge, that hip, warming up our internal core system, keeping the ribs and pubic bone connected to each other, keeping our shoulders broad. 2, and 1, and coming up here. Let's drop the elastic for a moment and moving into some shoulder circles. So for 8 and 7, nice and fluid here. 6, feel those shoulder blades moving, cascading along the rib cage as opposed to just big, huge motions. You want to connect the movement of your shoulder blades to your ribs. Last 2, and last 1. And now we're going to move the right one up and keep the left one down, stacking the pelvis evenly. We're going to switch sides. So we're really isolating shoulder blade motion here versus moving the ribs. So it's shoulder blade up, keeping my ribs stacked, and switching. So this can be quite a confusing thing to feel at first because you can't see what's happening in the back body. You have to envision your shoulder blade moving up and forward on your rib cage and then sliding down. And you may feel a little bit of side-to-side motion, but you're doing your best to control that as much as you can. Last 2. And last 1. Let's put our hands onto our hips here and doing our hip circles for 8 in one direction. That's 6 there. Again, just stirring the leg bones in the socket, warming up that internal core, so feeling a connection of that pelvic floor starting to lift. That transversus muscle really connecting across the front body, and even that feeling of liftedness running along the back of your spine so that you're engaged not just in the front but also in the back, switching directions for 8. Easy motion here, 7 and 6. And last 5, 4, you're stirring those leg bones in the cauldron. 3, good, as your pelvis moves in circles. 2, And last one, coming back through center. Let's just warm up our feet and our ankles. So we're gonna lift the toes, spread them apart, and place them back down. And then lift and spread, and place them back down. So we're gonna do that for 3 more, really feeling that liftedness through the pelvic floor and height right through to the crown of the head, chin drawing back so that your head is really stacked over the rest of your spine, and placing them down. 1 more, place those toes down nice and wide. Feel those arches being lifted towards the back part of the arch, and then we're going to lean over to the right edge of the foot, on the right foot and the inner border of the left, back through center, and then switching sides. So thinking of this mostly as an ankle edging side to side, ankle motion, versus sticking the hips out right to left. So actually try to keep the hips relatively quiet and the pelvis quiet as you edge right to left on your ankles. We're going to move through another 5, and then 4. So you inhale through center, exhale over to one side, inhale, exhale, last 2, and then last 1. Give your legs a gentle shake out, right from the ankle and the lower leg. And we'll just do a couple of butt kicks as well to warm up the front thigh, getting that stretch going. So finding the length through the body, nice, long, and tall. A little bit of kick forward, and then exhale, kick the buttock without arching the back. So it's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. If you lose your balance, just recover, or you can put your hand onto something for a little bit of balance support. Moving through 8 and 7, long and tall. 6, stacking here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Switching sides, so we're stretching the front line here, activating the back line, finding our control through our center here. Inhale, exhale. 2 and 3, 4. Exhale, 5 and 6, tall, long, 7 and 8. Coming back through center, wide stance here. We'll just do side to sides to get the inner side of the adductor lengthened. So we're going to fold or hinge at the hips and reach down towards our knee, back through center, and then over to the other side. So we're sticking the hips back behind us, reaching to the knee. You want to think of lengthening the inside here and folding at the bent leg side. So let's go, last 5. And you can even add a little bit of a twist here. Through center, 4. Easy and gentle as it's a warm up here. 3. Watch the shoulders aren't hiking up to the ears. 2. Really practice sitting back into the hips. And last 1. All right, give your legs a nice shake out, and we're going to get ready for our circuit. So you want to have your weights and your elastic nearby, and I'll go ahead and start our timer, and we're ready to get started. So starting our first move is going to be a squat with a hop in between. So we're going to go into our nice easy range of motion of the squat, hands come forward, and then we're going to do a side step over to the other side and squat again. So once you've got the hang of the motions, this is phase 1. Phase 2, you're hopping and squatting, hopping and squatting, hopping and squat. So as feet come together in the center, and you're pressing off the balls of your feet. You want to control your ankle stance here. So you don't want to feel wobbly ankles. Nice strong feet. If you want to break it down a little bit more, halfway between, you can go over on the toes and down. Over on the toes and down. So hop and squat. You can bring the arms back behind you as you're going through the center, getting as low as you can on the squat. You're going to go ahead and grab your light weights to get started for our next move. We're coming onto the center of our mat, finding our hip hinge. So first thing is to find the hinge, weights out in front. From here, you want to, let's just take our hands to the front belly here, take a breath in, and then the exhale, really feel the abdominal wall gently pull away from your hands. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, draw the low belly away from the hands. From here, you're going to step back with one leg, keeping as though you had a zipper here. It's going to be pointing straight at the floor out in front. Soft bend in the front knee. We're hinging forward, lifting our back leg. Hands come down. We go into the elbow, broad shoulders, and extend our arms. We're going to do our tricep extension in this position. If you feel like you need to, you can always place your foot back down on the floor. We're going to get a couple more reps in here before we go back to our squat and over to the other side. So foot on the floor, level 1, foot up, level 2. Coming on up. We'll go back to the squat. We'll place the weights down for now, getting into the squat, side step, squat. Hands back, low. So now that you've got the hang of it, you can add a little bit of depth to the squat and a little bit of height to the jump. Strong legs. If you feel like you want to be doing this workout in footwear and shoes, that's fine too. But I really want you to focus on maintenance of arches and good mechanics, even if you move into shoes. Nice height in between, or going back to the step, squat. Go ahead, we're going to pick those weights back up and on to our next tricep extension. So in this position here, you're going to go ahead and find your hinge, find your step, find that hinging with a small lift, zipper pointed straight at the floor, pelvis stayed level, knees tracking over your second toe, widen the shoulders. Pubic bone connects to your bottom ribs or your sternum. And you're exhaling back behind you. Think about drawing that back leg into the socket in this position. For deeper challenge, you can bring the hinge forward more, as long as you feel as though you can keep your pelvis level. Level 1, you're keeping your foot on the floor the whole time. Extending those arms back behind you. We'll get a couple more reps in here. 2, and last one. If you want to hang on to your weights for this last set, you can do so. So we're going into our squat, back behind, down, back behind, down. So just trying to move nice and fast side to side, getting a little bit of height in that jump. So you can really think about pressing off the ball of the big toe to get a little higher. If you feel like you don't have a lot of ankle stability, then break it down nice and slow and practice that feeling of a strong, stable ankle side to side. Using the breath, getting low as you can with good mechanics, and really bringing those arms straight back behind you as you get nice and high in that side step. One more there. Beautiful. Going back to our last move. We'll do 3 and then switch to the other side. Whew. So hinge here. Connect pubic bone to bottom ribs. Leg back. Find your hinge. Wide collarbones. And extend 1, 2, and 3. You can go ahead, switch, tip, 1, wide, chin to the back of the throat, 2, connecting pubic bone to bottom rib, 3, switch, hinge, 1, 2, connecting to that core, 3. Remembering the more you tip, the harder the workout. As long as you're keeping pelvis level, zipper pointing straight at the floor, you've done a great job. We're going to grab our elastic and move on to our next exercise. So taking the elastic here, coming to the front edge of the mat. We're going to bring the arms behind us and get that gentle pressing out to the side. It's not too forceful here. Connecting through our core system, we're going to step back with one leg. From this position, we're lowering just a little bit to get started. And then keeping our hip bones pointing forward, we're turning and twisting in the direction of the front leg and back. So it's just a step and a twist. You want to feel as though the twist initiates from the belly button as opposed to from the arms. So as you step, you don't want it to be just an arm thing. It's a twist from the torso and back. To add challenge, you go a little lower and back. We're going to pair that with a plank hold high hips. So coming down onto your mat here, setting up for plank like last week, strong long shoulders, stepping back, inhale, exhale, connect, second leg back. From here, we're going to bring the feet in just a little bit, high hips, and then you're going to step right back. So feet in, hips go high, feet go back, find that nice long straight line. Feet go in, hips go high, keeping the pubic bone and the bottom ribs connected. High hips. You don't have to lift them super high, but what you don't want to do is round. So you're thinking about that famous hip hinge, high hips, and back. Beautiful. Stepping back into our lunge, grab that elastic, and get ready for our other side. So hands are going to go out to the side here. And we're getting ready, stepping back with the other leg this time. So that'll be this leg here. We're dropping down into a nice lunge, turning towards that front side leg, and up. Now as I twist here, I don't want to have my knee turn to the inside. So as I turn this way, we don't want the leg going that way. We want to maintain all of our height. So without it, thinking about twisting, it's like twisting a prayer position here of the whole torso as the leg stays straight ahead. We're strong and controlled through our midsection here and back. Finishing up our last few reps. Really connect with the whole body here, twisting from the navel. You don't want to over twist, so just find a place of twist, even if it's that much that's comfortable for you. We're going to go ahead and go back into our other move there. So getting ready for our plank, we're changing it up just a little bit this time. So we're going to step back, find that nice place of connection. Inhale, exhale, second leg back. And then from here, without over rounding, we're just bringing one foot in and back. One foot in and back. See if you can feel a connection to that low belly to bring the leg in and extend it back out. Bringing it in and extending it back out. Watch that you're not over rounding in your shoulders. Chin to the back of the throat. You got one more. And we'll add in one more for good luck. And back. Going back to our lunge to finish. Here we go. Hands out to the side. Find that place of connection. From here, we're stepping back, twisting to the front leg side, and switching. Stepping back, twist to the front leg side. You may feel that you have one side that's easier for you to twist towards. That's quite normal. So you don't need to push through and make it bigger than is comfortable. If you find your deltoid shoulders are getting too uncomfortable here, just go without the elastic, and you can mimic the elastic position there. Or hands to the hips. Turning through this midsection here. It's like you're moving from the navel to one side. Good stuff. We're going to go back to the mat for our plank. So coming down here into plank. Chin to the back of the throat, getting ready through our low belly. Stepping one leg back and back. From here, you're thinking about bringing the leg in. This time we're not tapping it down for increased challenge. You can go back level 1 to step in, step out, or step in and step out. Or knee to chest, knee to chest. You want to watch you don't bring it too far that you over around here. So strong, long, tall body. Exhaling to bring it in. Feel those leg bones being drawn into the socket. We're almost there. Good job. Coming back up to standing. Getting ready with your elastic. You're going to take the elastic and place them under your front foot. Grab a hold and stand up nice and tall. So I've got my fist holding the elastic like this. From here, you want to find your length, your strength, and your hands are slightly out to the side away from the body, and you're going to do a bicep curl. You're going to step through and bicep curl. So you're stepping backwards and forwards and doing the curl. We want to make sure to do this curl, again, we're not rounding forward, so we're broad through the fronts, long through the spine, and stepping through. You're doing a great job. We're getting there. We'll only do one of these on each side. We're going to pair this with a lunge hop switch today. So ramping it back up before we hit the mat here, finding your hinge, stepping back. This is high lunge position here. So you can either step switch with a little bit of speed. If you've got that going on, from here you're going to add it to a hop switch. So keeping your pelvis level side to side, long through here, hop switch, hop switch. Now ideally, level 1 switching is kind of one foot, the next foot, one foot, the next foot. But what you're trying to do is hop switch, land both feet at the same time. Hands can stay high, or for a bit of help and momentum, you can add the hands with each switch. Or so hop switch, or quick switch. We'll go back to doing our bicep curl. So sticking it onto the other foot this time. Good, grabbing hold, standing up nice and tall, finding the length through here, head is stacked. So we're ready to curl and switch, curl. You want to make sure that your wrists, your fists, stay in alignment with your forearm. So there isn't a bend in the wrists here. So this movement is coming from the front of the arm, your bicep. And with your arms slightly angled out to the side here, it's just got a nicer element of challenge to that bicep than if you come straight up the front. I'm trying to keep my head stacked over the rest of me the whole time. There we go. There's our ding. We're getting ready for our last hop switch. You're welcome to add your weights to this one for that added element of challenge here. So weights come up into this position or down at your side. Find your strength, step back, inhale, exhale, exhale, switch, exhale, switch. Once you got the hang of it, you can add depth. So you can go from a deeper lunge, hands can come up a little higher, switch down to a lunge, switch down to a lunge, switch down to a lunge. So that's our level 2, 3 move there. Or remember, hop, quick step. Just back, back, back. So whichever move is working best for you at this time, level 1, level 2, or level 3 right down. And there you go, there's your ticket for today, our last ding. We're gonna get ready to hit the mat. So get ready, we're on our way down. We're gonna head down to the mat, right onto our stomach. So coming down onto the mat in this position here, you're going to think about lengthening through the low back here as you draw the fronts of your thighs in towards the back of your navel or belly button. So really thinking about lots of length here so we're not slumped in this position, long through the back and drawing up through the front, right through to the spine. Hands can be in this position here with broad collarbones, and or hands can go to the back of the pelvis here to monitor a nice level pelvis. In this position here, we're lifting our one leg off of the ground, moving from the hip socket, leg bone is lifting. From there, you're going to switch over to the other side. Head can be up or on the mat. From this position here, we're switching over to the left side. So you want to feel as though these two bones stay nice and level. You don't need to worry about lifting really high with the leg. You're more focused on keeping the pelvis level and feeling that connection of the drawing up of the front body into the spine. So you're releasing the front line, the front thigh to lift the leg, and the whole back body is working here. If your hands are going to be at the side here, there's that broadness through the collarbones, and you really are focusing on moving leg bones in the socket. You shouldn't feel any discomfort here, so it's easy motion, keeping level. And if you feel a challenge here to maintain length through your low back, you can place a pillow underneath your stomach. We're moving through another 10 with a little bit of speed, and 9. So we're working our back body, our glutes here, our hamstrings, and our core. Our chin to the back of the throat to maintain length here. Last 3, 2, and 1. Good job. From here, we're going to turn onto our back to finish with an easy stretch today. Grabbing a hold of your elastic, wrapping it around your foot, extending the leg up. Take a moment, take a deep breath, and exhale. Move into a position of gentle elongation, as though the elastic was gently stretching versus a strong pull. You may want to bend the knee slightly and imagine the pelvis being level right to left and front to back. You can draw the leg bone in towards you gently and let it go forward. So you're envisioning moving this long leg bone in its socket towards the chest and then back out. You don't want to stress, force, or strain. Just picture the muscle as this elastic very softly elongating, keeping your tailbone heavy on the mat. Last 2. And a nice 1. Bringing that leg across the midline, so long leg bone across. And then back to center. So now you're stretching more the back of the thigh, the back of the buttock. So it's an easy cross midline here. You're keeping your pelvis relatively level. Your inner core muscles are active here. And you're going to finish with another 2. So we're elongating the back side of the hip here, bending the knee if you feel that's more comfortable too. Keeping that pelvis nice and level. 1. And then going away from midline here, bending the knee if need be. One leg drops out to the side as a counter weight to this long leg extension that's going to move away from midline. And back. So you're envisioning if you had a zipper, the zipper's pointing straight to the sky, and the leg bones only are moving away from center, creating stretch and lengthening on the insides of the thighs between your pelvis and your knee. You can bend the knee if you feel too much pull in the back of the knee here, and that will help you isolate it up to the top of the groin. Last 2, and then the last 1. Back through center, switching sides to finish. Wrapping around the foot, and then gentle elongation, even if here is where you can get to for today, and you can just move a smaller range until you feel soft elongation of the back of the thigh, and then gentle release. So remember, it's not meant to be a forceful motion here, and you want to keep that tailbone connected and the ribs connected through to the pelvis so that it truly is this motion of elongation just in the back of the thigh bone and not a flattening of your low back. Last two. Exhale, last one. Moving away from midline this time. We'll swap our order, so we're moving away and back to center. So if in the previous stretches you felt as the leg was crossing midline, that it just felt pinchy on the inside of the thigh and the groin, you may need to start with this move first and then do the cross the midline. I'm also softly pulling the elastic in towards my center, so it's like I'm pulling my leg bone into the socket to support me as I'm going into the stretch. From here, extending the leg, we're crossing over. So leg bone in socket, pelvis is staying level. And that just eventually helps us to pick up a stretch on the outer side of the hip. We've got another 5. You want to stay maintaining connection to your inner core. 4. Some of you may be able to straighten that leg fully, but watch that it doesn't put your low back into an arch. So find a position where you feel supported in the back as well. 2. Knee can bend if need be. Last one. Then back through center, bringing that off. We're going to go ahead and turn onto our side and come on up. So that ends our week 5 workout. You've done a great job. I know you're getting stronger and stronger, and I look forward to seeing you in week 6.